For today's session, we'll begin it a little differently. We'll take you down memory lane. Let me know when you can see my screen. Jeffrey says that I'm new to Toastmasters and yet to choose a path, here to learn more. Excellent. Then Rashmi says, I have seen it yet on my portal as I'm just completing my legacy pathway where the change is not reflected. And that's one of the things that we shall talk about today. Who is seeing the changes and who will not be able to see the changes? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Thank you for the confirmation. As mentioned, this is the Pathways Enhancements 2025 session being conducted by District 114. Going down memory lane. A number of us are aware that Toastmasters began or was founded officially in October 1924. And that's when the first club was founded in Santa Ana, California. And at that particular time, for the benefit of those who've just joined Toastmasters, Ralph C. Smedley and his friends, a couple of young guys who had just finished school, university or college, began to meet at YMWCA. And they met primarily to perfect the toast, because they realized each time they were invited to give a toast or speak in praise of somebody, they messed it up. Therefore, they began to have these practice sessions where they would practice on one another and give each other feedback. And their sole purpose was to become masters of the toast or toast masters, hence the name that remains to this day, Toastmasters. And over the years, they continue to enhance the program, and you'll notice that in 1928, they had the first manual where there were 10 lessons in public speaking. And in 1942, they had a basic training with 12 project curriculum. 1950, they began to do beyond basic training. And this is where what they call the advanced manuals were introduced. And we are glad that we will sample some of those manuals with the enhancements that have been introduced. Then we had the communication track being introduced together with the leadership track. Note that before they were only communicating and not necessarily tracking leadership. But for the period 1997 to 2010, they combined the communication and leadership training, and we had two tracks. We had the communication track that had the basic competent communicator, that's what the CC stands for. Then advanced communicator bronze, advanced communicator silver, and advanced communicator gold. And for those of us who've been around for a while, this is what we call the legacy program. And like my first distinguished Toastmaster certification is from Legacy. And this is what we had to go through in order to qualify to become a distinguished Toastmaster. You had to go through the competent communication track and the leadership track. The CL stands for competent leader, then advanced leadership bronze, and then advanced leadership silver. And then to get the DTM then, as mentioned earlier, you needed to complete both the tracks. Then come the year 2010 to where we are today. We have the curriculum being called Pathways. And this is the digital platform where learning can happen anytime, any place. And you work at your own pace. And this was meant to modernize education and accept that the world had gone digital. And therefore, Toastmasters embraced the same. In the year 2017, Pathways was launched in some of the regions within Toastmasters International. And for those who were there around that time, you will note that we had Pathways champions in the regions where it had been launched. And then 2019 was the time that Pathways was introduced, and for the DCP program, you could qualify in both the legacy program and the Pathways program. But come the year 2020, the legacy program, which is the CC and the CL, were retired, and Pathways became our sole curriculum. Have you seen how the education program has evolved with time? And it started when we were not yet born. And again, for those who are new, we've just celebrated 101 years in October 2025. And we are delighted that we are part of an organization that does not stagnate. It has continued to evolve. For you to get a better appreciation of the legacy curriculum, which had both the CC, which is the competent communicator, and the CL, competent leader. When you joined as a member, you had to finish 10 projects under the competent communicator. Then you moved to advanced communicator bronze, another 10 projects. Advanced communication silver, another 10 projects. Advanced communicator gold, another 10 projects. Then alongside that, we had the competent leader. And what this entailed, by the way, was for you to carry that particular manual. And whenever you served in a club meeting role, you would find somebody to evaluate you for the role. And they would actually write out in your book and give an evaluation on how you performed that particular role. Then once you were done with that, you'd advance to the bronze and ultimately the silver. We did not have advanced leader gold. It stopped at silver. Then once you did all that and the DTM project, then you were given the certification of being a DTM under the legacy program. Do you like the history of how far we've come as an organization? And the organization continues to improve. And I can see your comment. Faith, you can unmute and just voice it. Faith Maura, you can unmute and voice your comment. Are you able to speak?
Yes, DTM Maggie.
Go ahead.
Really, this is a very good history for us to know. And I think I've been here long enough, but I didn't understand the origin of the word Toastmasters. And just to think of how that came about is truly inspiring and makes me have a better appreciation of being a member of such a great organization.
Thank you for that feedback. And you'll notice that over time, even during Ralph Medley's days, when they started getting employed and they needed to do presentations, they would practice their presentations on one another. And that's why we call the education curriculum for Toastmasters. It's all about learning by doing, no spectators. You practice and you get feedback on the spot. And that's how the curriculum has evolved over time. Where are we today in terms of the pathways enhancements? And why are we even having enhancements? It's because members have been requesting, and especially we who are in the legacy program and saw how rich it was when we had both the communication and the leadership track. And we noted at that time how taking up club meeting roles and even delivering the tip sessions from the 3 education series documents, Better Speaker, Successful Club, and Leadership Excellence, how they elevated the quality in our clubs. And they enabled the different members to participate. And this was to sustain club vitality and also the momentum. Then the enhancements are also there because they strengthen practical leadership capabilities. And as you begin to go through the different projects, you will see how that helps you and transforms you as a leader and gives you access to material that we did not have previously in Pathways. We had left it in the legacy program. But personally, I am so excited that these enhancements are here, as that has made our learning so much richer. And then you're able to facilitate knowledge sharing, and especially as you take on those tip sessions, and you're able to embrace the best practices in a way that transforms you as an individual and your club. And by the way, we're already embracing one of the tools, Moments of Truth. It's one of the tools under the series that we'll be undertaking. And I can't wait for you to have a go at them. Then it will also help us to improve retention in our clubs, especially with the introduction of those new projects. They are so rich and marketplace-based. Then we'll continue to develop our competencies progressively as we apply these new skills and receive feedback on the same. And then, of course, fostering a culture of collaboration within the clubs. And this again will continue to strengthen the clubs that we have. The Pathways enhancements are now live, effective 22nd October 2025. And we did receive an official email on the same. But which parts have been affected by this particular enhancement? It's what we are calling the current parts that are available. We know that there are some parts that were retired, but there are some of us who still have projects to complete in what we are now calling the legacy pathways. But for the current parts that are available for us to purchase, that's dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, presentation mastery, and visionary communication. But those of us who are on this path have seen the enhancements. Therefore, when our district finance manager, Rashmi, was saying that she can't see them, it's because she's not on these paths currently. She's on the paths that have been retired, but still available for members to complete. And that's what we are calling the legacy parts, which is effective coaching, innovative planning, leadership development, strategic relationships, and team collaboration. They will not receive the enhancements with the meeting role and the education series. Then we also have those who work on the translated parts. These are the non-English parts. They will also not receive the enhancements at this particular stage. Of course, we're encouraging those who are still in the legacy parts to complete them as early as they're able to, so that they can come and join us in the fun. Are there very many of us in the legacy parts? And I'm hoping you're making strides in them. And something that I know about Toastmasters is after a while, they'll give us a deadline within which to complete the legacy parts. And that's what they did with us when we were transitioning from the legacy competent communicator and competent leader tracks. They gave us a time frame, and it was 2 years. So that anybody who had not finished, wherever they were, they had to stop and move on to the pathways. And I know they'll be doing something with these parts. So again, I encourage you to work on them and try and complete as early as you can. Still some more information on the enhancements. The members need to complete their meeting roles. And as mentioned earlier, deliver those tip sessions from those 3 amazing manuals. And those of us who are in the current pathways have already seen the requirements being outlined in each of our project levels. If you're in level 1, and we'll look at that in greater details, you'll be able to see the new role requirements. But if you'd already completed that level, even though you see them there, it will not affect your level completion. And that's another question I've been getting. Now that these enhancements came after I'd completed my level, how does that affect me? It doesn't affect your level completion. However, if you want to go and take up the roles, well and good, and chances are you're already taking them. So you might as well clock them in your base camp profile, and we'll look at that as well. Then the education series are affecting level 3, 4, and 5 for what we are calling the 6 parts that are currently available for purchase. And they are the Successful Club series, the Better Speaker series, and the Leadership Excellence series. And we'll get to see the projects that are under each of them. And as you undertake these beautiful education materials and resources, you will improve your communication and leadership skills, and you'll be able to support your club and enhance your club quality and strengthen your membership. Because with these enhancements, members will be learning more, and the skills which are transferable will be seen in the marketplace and the communities in which we live, and others will want the same. And you'll invite them so that you also get goal number 7 and 8 for your club. for the enhanced pathways level 1, if you're in presentation mastery, it looks something of this sort. It now gives you the projects you need to complete. And you'll notice participate as a table topic speaker before icebreaker. Then you'll complete the icebreaker, write a speech with a purpose, introduction to vocal variety and body language, evaluation and feedback project, which we all know is in 3 parts. And also gives you an opportunity in the 3rd part to evaluate. But you're also being required now, we are being required to be a timer or an hour counter. There's a question I'm getting. What if I answered a table topic before I became a member? Is that valid? The answer is yes, if you remember the date. And if you don't, if your club keeps an agenda, you're able to pick it from there. We will, however, run into a challenge, and that's for every club within Toastmasters International. I've not heard of any club that goes back to update their agenda in case we had last-minute dropouts. And what that means is the last agenda on file may not be a correct copy of those who took up roles for a meeting. We need to see how we'll manage that aspect of the agenda not being final if we had role dropouts. Or does anybody's club go back and update the agenda, the club meeting agenda, to reflect the true position? I know none of mine do. Anybody's club?
So
That would have been a very nice place for us to be able to track accuracy.
So can I share?
Yes, go ahead, Rashmi. Our
Yes.
DFM, President of DAO.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity. So we have started with some awards which are quarterly. So that requires our VPE or Vice President Education, who does a great job to update the agenda. So all the roles are automatically updated because then when we are doing the awards, we need that sheet. So I think that way we are trying it. Thank you.
Oh, lovely. That's excellent. They're able to keep an updated record of the actual role takers. The other place where we can pick the role takers for the meeting is in the club minutes, depending on how detailed your club secretary maintains the same. And whether you as club members read the minutes to ensure that they are accurately capturing a record of your previous club meeting. We need to find a way to track, and this will especially be important for those special club meeting roles like quiz master, joke master, if it's not already on the agenda, and those who act as a mentor for a particular role to a fellow member. So let's begin to think of how we are going to be capturing the club meeting roles, in addition to tracking them on our Basecamp profiles. And I'll show you where that is in a minute. And if you have something to add, raise your hand or unmute your mic, and hopefully I'll see it. And if I don't, if you see it, draw attention to it kindly. So this is level 2. And you'll notice when you log on to your Basecamp and click on the path that you're currently on, and you go to level 2, it will tell you what the level requirements are and what you'll be learning. So do take time to read the same. And something else that I've really appreciated is the scripts that they have availed now within Basecamp. And you're able to download them. And they even tell you the skills that you're learning. So try and maximize on that as well. And all this is for level 2. And the required meeting roles are you need to be a grammarian, a topic master, an evaluator, speaker, and then you select one from the 3, which is Toastmaster of the day, the timer, and the counter. So what we are saying is we've got 5 meeting roles that we need to complete for level 2. We had 2 meeting roles that we had to complete for level 1, which was being a table topic speaker, then either a timer or the counter, in addition to the projects that we were used to. Moving on to level 3, where we are increasing in knowledge. We have, once again, the scripts being availed to us. And we are being reminded that we have 1 required project and 2 electives that we select from the list that is available. But in addition to that, we've now been introduced to those wonderful resources that I've been talking about, the Successful Club series. And you need to undertake 1 project only from that particular education manual. And we'll be seeing the kind of topics that are available in a bit. And that helps you complete level 3. And here they are. The Successful Club series has got topics like creating the best club climate. And I remember we've done this previously as a club officer training. Meeting roles and responsibilities. These are things we're always doing during the orientation session when we join as a member. Then keeping the commitment. How do you keep the fire? In Toastmasters. This is my 17th year as a Toastmaster. How do you keep the commitment? And going beyond your club, where we participate in contests. And by the way, it is contest season. How about taking up a role that's beyond your club? You serve in various offices. I've been referring to Rashmi as the district finance manager. I'm serving this year as a program quality director. It's a district role. And there are other opportunities available for us to grow as we go beyond our club. Therefore, when we choose to take up this particular project, you'll be letting your club members know what other roles are available and other interesting things that they can engage in just because they're Toastmasters. And therefore, to complete level 3, you need to be Toastmaster of the day, you need to be an evaluator, you need to be a speaker, including having 1 presentation from the Successful Club series, and we've looked at the topics briefly. And then you need to select 1 more club meeting role from topics master, table topic speaker, or introductory mentor. And this is an informal role. And we'll see what that entails now. As mentioned, it's an unofficial informal role. And this is where maybe you served as the Toastmaster of the day, and somebody says, I want to be a Toastmaster of the day in our next meeting. You did it so well. Can you mentor me for the role? And of course, the right response is yes. And you'll be able to have or take up this particular role in level 3 and 5. And when you're mentoring that particular individual, it could involve mentoring them even by answering questions about your previous meeting role. or it could be any other type of support from members in your club. If somebody wants to understand, what do I write for the speech? Writing a speech with a purpose. And I've seen there's a space up there. What do I need to do with it? It's write out your speech purpose. You guide them through that process. And by doing that, you're an introductory mentor. And you need to let your VP know that you've conducted this particular role, because it needs to be tracked. And you know, it will not appear on the agenda. As I was saying, we need to find a way to track some of these roles that are not even captured under our Basecamp profile for now. Some of us may be aware that we do have the Pathways Mentoring Program, which is a free path that only shows up after you complete level 2. And that particular module has got the Pathways Mentor Program. You prepare to mentor. You mentor somebody for one project. Then you deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech on your experience mentoring a club member or a fellow Toastmaster for one project. Then in order to complete that particular path, you need to have what we call advanced mentoring for a longer term, which is a minimum of 6 months. And you sit with that particular Toastmaster. They share with you their goals and the calendar when they expect to complete each of those items that they've listed. And once the 6-month period is up, you go back to the club and you share a 5 to 7 minute speech on that particular experience. And you'll notice that there's so much to learn, even as you mentor. And once you successfully complete this particular Pathways mentoring program, you become certified as a Pathways mentor. And I know that there are a couple of us on this call who are certified Pathways mentors. And this particular path is free. Take it up. It's another level of certification for you. So don't pass up that particular opportunity. But note that by the time you're being certified, you also need to complete your path. And it's a wonderful, wonderful certificate to have. Moving on to level 4, where we are building skills. And for this particular level as well, we do have 1 required project and 1 elective. And guess what? We have 2 projects to undertake. 1 from the Successful Club series and another from the Better Speaker series. And we'll be looking at the topics in a bit. We have what we were used to, 1 project that was compulsory depending on the path you're on. And then we have to choose 1 project from the 5 that are available. Then we have the new education programs under the Successful Club series. You undertake 1 project, and the Better Speaker series, you undertake 1 project, which means we are now having to do 4 projects. In addition to that, let's quickly look at the Successful Club series before we look at the club meeting roles. Here is where you have opportunity to tell your fellow club members how to find new members. How do you close the sale? And you'll notice that sales is not just for those in sales and marketing. We are all selling something, and we are also all finance people. You may also want to share on how to be a distinguished club, and especially if you're new. Or you may not be new, but you've had such a high attrition rate, the new members don't know how to be a distinguished club. You may choose to take that up as your project under the Successful Club series. And the Toastmasters education program and what it entails, and you can go through something similar to what we're having this evening. Then under the Better Speaker series, we have projects like beginning your speech. How do you open your speech with impact? And you can deliver that as a tip session in your club and you help so many people. How do you then conclude your speech and leave them wanting more? Deliver that as a tip session. How do you control those butterflies? And we all have to work with them. Controlling your fear when you need to speak. How about impromptu speaking? How do you speak at the drop of a hat and speak sense while you're at it? You can deliver a tip session on that to help you complete your level 4. A few more projects under the Better Speaker is selecting your topic, know your audience, organizing your speech, creating an introduction, preparation and practice, and using body language. Again, wonderful projects that will help you and your club members to learn and become better communicators and better leaders. And now the additional roles that we need to take up as we seek to complete level 4 is you serve as the Toastmaster of the day, be a general evaluator, be an evaluator for somebody's speech, be a speaker for the projects that you need to complete, both the ones that we're used to and the new ones that have been added. And then you perform one additional club meeting role, that of being a table topic speaker. Remember, you already spoke when you were in level 1, but here is another opportunity. Then there is topics master and specialized role, which is informational. And we'll be looking at these specialized roles. You know, I had a very interesting conversation with somebody that we approached to be a contestant for table topics. They say they've been 2 years in the club and nobody has ever asked them a table topic. It feels so far-fetched, doesn't it? And yet it's happening in our clubs today. But now that we need to complete our level, we'll be working with the VP and the Toastmaster of the day, as well as the topics master, to ensure that people are able to get these club meeting roles in order for them to complete their pathways education level. And once you complete all that, then you've met the requirements for level 4, and you can get certification for the same. I talked about taking up a specialized role. And this is one that is not typically a standard Toastmasters club meeting role. But once you serve in this role, it's accepted in our clubs. And a good example is the Hack Master, which is also known as the listening post. Another one is when you are in charge of a round robin or a quiz master, or you're asked to evaluate somebody's table topics, a poll master, or even a Zoom master. These roles count under specialized role, and you can take them up, but you need to be able to track them so that when you need to use it to complete your level, you have the details required by the Vice President of Education, or in their absence, the other club base camp managers, the president or the club secretary. Then on to level 5. More interesting things in level 5. Again, we are being told what requirements we need to fulfill as we are now demonstrating expertise and we're getting ready to complete our path. Once again, the resources are available for us to download, and do download them. They have very useful logs and scripts that we're able to use to be able to undertake our role effectively. And each time we undertake our role effectively, we are contributing to club quality. And again, it's a moment of truth tool? Are you giving your members a memorable learning experience because of how you're conducting your role? And in level 5, we have one required project, the one we're used to, and we had to select or elect one elective project. Then in addition to that, we have one project in the Successful Club series and one project in the Leadership Excellence series, which means we now have 4 projects similar to what we had in level 4. And looking at the Successful Club series options or projects that are available, there goes my favorite quality tool, Moments of Truth. And I know that a number of you got to undertake this particular project during the Q1, the golden quarter, when you are conducting your club's Moments of Truth for this financial year. Then how do you evaluate to motivate? How about mentoring and teaching your fellow club members about the same? Then for the Leadership Excellence series, we have service and leadership. What about servant leadership? How about the leader as a coach? You want to coach as a career, or you want to coach a club that is struggling? How do you develop a mission so that you have a compass that will direct you where you need to go? How do you motivate people without giving them money? And how do you build a team, and not just any kind of team, but an effective team? Do you see how beautiful these projects are? And that's why I'm so excited that they were introduced. They're there to help us grow. How do you delegate to empower and build leaders? And this helps with expansion, even in the marketplace or even within Toastmasters. How do you resolve conflict? What about being a visionary leader? The values and leadership, how do they relate to each other? And how do you communicate them? How about goal setting and planning? So that you know when you have arrived. How about giving effective feedback meant to grow not just the speaker, but also those in the audience? These are beautiful, beautiful projects for us to undertake. And then for this particular one, we need to undertake being a general evaluator, Toastmaster of the day, and a speech evaluator. And note that when you're in level 5, you're taking up general evaluator 2 times, Toastmaster of the day 2 times, evaluator 2 times. Did you notice that for those of us who are already in level 5? And of course, delivering the projects within level 5 as a speaker. And then you need to pick one additional role from the ones that I'm displaying. That of a table topic speaker, a topics master, a counter, timer, club mentor. You remember this particular one where you help a member with a club meeting role or even to get by with their speech? They could be stuck and you help them. Or one of the specialized roles. We talked about the Hearth Master or Listening Post, the Quiz Master, the Round Robin Master, the Zoom Master, the Polls Master. Or you can be a grammarian. Once we complete these roles, then we have met the requirements for level 5. When here it is once again, the required meeting roles and the ones you need to complete 2 times within that level. The only thing that they're not allowing us to do is to evaluate or be evaluated for how well we are performing the roles. And that's something we really benefited from in the legacy program, where we had the manuals and somebody had to sit and write, how well did Maggie perform the timer role? How did she serve as the Toastmaster of the day? Or did she do well? What does she need to improve on? And I'm hoping that that's an enhancement they'll give us in the future, further enhancing our effectiveness as we take up those club meeting roles. For the successful club series, which we will encounter in levels 3, 4, and 5. The topics are creating the best club climate, keeping the commitment, going beyond your club, meeting roles and responsibilities, closing the sale, finding new members. Does your club need new members? How to be a distinguished club? How about the Toastmasters education program? Evaluate to motivate. Moments of truth, a number of us are familiar with it. And mentoring. And you'll encounter these once again in level 3, 4, 5, as we undertake the successful club series. Then for the better speaker series, it is in level 4. And for this particular one, and note this is better speaker. This is you and I will be delivering a tip session on how beginning your speech, concluding your speech, controlling your fear, impromptu speaking, selecting your topic. There are people who are asking, how do I select a topic? Where does somebody begin? We'll get some tips from this one once you or somebody in your club delivers this as a tip session for them to complete their level 4. How do you know your audience, but you stay relevant and relatable? How do you organize your speech? Using the different organizational structures that we have. Are you using chronological order? Are you using topical? Are you using cause and effect, problem solving? Are you comparing? Which organization structure are you following? How about creating an introduction? Preparation and practice. How about using body language as an effective communication tool? When you get to encounter this, when you undertake your level 4, and the project is the Better Speaker series. What about Leadership Excellence series? You'll encounter this in level 5. And notice that in level 5, we are demonstrating expertise. And we get to learn more as we deliver tip sessions on service and leadership. The leader as a coach, developing a mission, motivating people, building a team, delegate to empower, resolving conflict, visionary leader, values and leadership, how do they relate? Goal setting and planning. And of course, something that we all benefit from as Toastmasters, giving effective feedback. These projects are so rich, meant to make our learning experience not just memorable, but to sharpen us as leaders. Are you liking the new projects that are available to us? Personally, I am so excited about them. And for each of the education series, that's the Better Speaker, Successful Club, and Leadership Excellence. They're there to allow us multiple presentation opportunities. And each of them contributes to our individual growth while supporting the success of our clubs. And then from the presentations from the successful club series, we get a better understanding, which helps our clubs to deliver excellent experiences. Again, speaking to moments of truth, where you have that memorable experience that keeps you coming back and telling others to join Toastmasters. And for the Better Speakers series, this speaks directly to you as an individual, but you benefit together as club members, where you're going to improve your own writing and delivery skills because of the projects that you will undertake. And guess what? Even though we're only undertaking one for now, if you see a project that's going to help you at the workplace, a community, don't wait to complete a level and come back. The path is yours. Feel free, read ahead, and continue undertaking the projects. And of course, for the Leadership Excellence series, which we will undertake in level 5 as we are demonstrating expertise, it helps foster stronger and more informed club leaders. And guess what? These are not just the club officers. Every member a leader. Because Toastmasters is the place where
leaders are made.
there you have it.
Thank you.
There is so much that's available to enrich our learning experience. And some of us have been asking, why did they add all these roles and all these enhancements? We want to be able to keep our club running, because you will note that in some of the clubs, some members only want to speak. They don't want to take up the other club meeting roles, and they are missing out on learning opportunities. But now that it is being tracked and being measured, you'll find our club meetings will be more vibrant, because nobody conducts the same club meeting role the same as somebody else. So I'm looking forward to seeing our club meetings become more vibrant as we experience different skills with the different club meeting roles. And we're also encouraging everybody to participate in the club success, not just a few. And this, as mentioned earlier, under Moments of Truth, will enhance our club meetings, making our clubs stronger and more successful. How will we be tracking? On your Basecamp profile, and I'll be able to show you this once I'm done with this particular presentation. When you log on to Basecamp, the top right-hand corner, there is a drop-down and you're able to click on your profile. And it's the same place where the Basecamp managers will be able to go to in order to view the club meeting roles that you have logged. And what does it look like? When you go to your pathways, this is what I was talking about, to the right-hand corner. And there is a drop-down right there, and you're able to click on your profile. And you'll be able to see this particular screen when you click on profile. And when you scroll down, that's where you will go and find the meeting roles. And you can see on this particular day, I was the accountant, and there is space for you to continue adding. And for you to be able to edit, click on this pencil. And then it will enable you to insert the date against the role that you took up. And this is how the Basecamp managers will be able to go in and see which roles you have successfully completed for the roles that we track today. That I talked about the informal roles and the specialized roles. Note we are not able to track them here. And that's why I mentioned we need to find a way to track some of these roles. And that could be like what President Rashmi, our DFM, said about having the updated agenda, or make sure your minutes are up to date and are an accurate record of what transpired during that meeting. So this is where you'll be coming to log the club meeting roles, other than the informal meeting role and the specialized ones. And for those who are base camp managers on the call, the VP is the president and the club secretary. Under your profile, you'll be able to see my clubs. Once you click on that, then it will bring you to that particular club and you're able to see the different members. And when you view their profile, you can see which roles they have taken up and logged. Because there are those of us who will have taken up roles and we didn't remember to come in here to update them. So now we need to make sure we come and log our club meeting role under our base camp profile. And I keep saying base camp profile because there is another profile that we have when we log into our Toastmasters page before we go to base camp. Once the base camp managers are in, they'll be able to see for each of us the roles that we have logged currently. And if we haven't logged any like this one, they won't be able to see any. Then some of the questions that are coming up is if a member working on level 1 serves as an evaluator, can that role be credited under level 2? Note you served as an evaluator. Can that role be credited under level 2? And we are saying that the meeting roles were designated to be completed in sequence to help members succeed as they progress in complexity, similar to the way Pathways is structured. However, members who wish to fulfill those roles in a different order may discuss exceptions with their club officers. And what this means is, as a club, you need to agree. What will you be following? Because the club belongs to members and members have a voice. So it's something that the EXCO can discuss and bring back into the club. And you can pass it as a motion using the Roberts Rule of Order. And you'll find that some of the clubs, especially those who don't have very many members, they fulfill multiple club meeting roles during each club meeting. So you may find you've been an evaluator or the Toastmaster of the day more than the required times for that particular level. And you're wondering, can I use those for future levels? So again, you can pass a motion that allows your club to be able to do that. Another interesting question is, if I'm working on 2 parts simultaneously, should the required roles be completed separately under each path? What do you think? Any takers? Have you encountered this one? Have you encountered this particular one? The answer is, note this person is working on 2 parts simultaneously, isn't it? And what we're being told is that the requirements for each level must be met separately under each path. And you cannot earn double credit for any role. So you can say I was Toastmaster of the day. Can I use it for both parts? You need to be Toastmaster of the day twice, or the number of times you're required to be in order to fulfill the requirements of that particular path. Is this helping somebody? How about those of us who love and enjoy participating in demonstration meetings as we seek to start new clubs and continue to strengthen and sustain District 114, or even take up speechcraft programs or joint club meetings? What becomes of those roles? And again, we are saying it is possible. Use those club meeting roles to advance in your pathway. The only caveat is you need to ensure that you fulfilled the role requirements. And again, even for demonstration meetings, we may not have minutes, but we do have the agenda. And for the Speechcraft program, we have the agenda as well as the Speechcraft program itself. And for the joint club meetings, we will hopefully have both the agenda and the minutes. Are there any further questions or comments? I tried to cover some of the ones that I know we're encountering. I can see a comment from, who is this? This is Darius. This time, members will not just rush through pathways. By the time you complete level 5, you will have built real competencies and are in need that are indeed transferable. I love this. So you're definitely in my camp. Go ahead, President Rashmi, our DFM manager.
Yes, thank you again. And it was a lovely presentation where I think many things were cleared with the question answers also. I had one particular question that is regarding in the base camp, we keep on writing our roles that we have undertaken during the year. If we keep on collecting, if once we have used it, is there a way to mark it off? Okay, this has been already assigned for so and so particular level. So now you need to do it again for the second level. Is there a way how we are going to do it for future? Thank you. That was
very important question. For now, we are only able to write the date and not tick it off. I wish there was a way that will enable us to tick off that I was a timer and I've used the timer towards this particular level. And therefore, I cannot use it again for another level. And that's where the Toastmasters values will come in. And the Toastmaster values are, how many are they before we call them out?
There are 4.
Let's hear them in order.
Respect, integrity, service, and
Excellence and
excellence.
service.
Okay, which is the first one?
integrity.
Lovely. I know we use the acronym RISE, but integrity comes before respect, and you've done so well. Those are our 4 core values as Toastmasters International. And we are hoping that as Toastmasters, we'll continue to uphold the highest levels of integrity. And I'd seen a question from the president of SEMA. Do you want to unmute and voice your question, Princess?
Yes, thank you, DT Maggie, for this wonderful presentation. It has been quite enlightening. At least now we have an idea how we are going. My question is in regard to the series, the Better Speaker, Leadership, Excellence. If, for example, I'll give an example of myself. I'm just about to start my second path. If I deliver a tip session in any of those series, does it count? Can I use it for my level 3, 4, and 5? If I deliver it now that I'm in level 1?
And this is your second path?
Yes.
What is meant to happen, and I'm very happy that you brought up that particular question, is when you're undergoing your first path, and we're encouraged to follow the levels, and it's deliberate, so that you first build on your fundamentals. Then you move on to the second level where you're understanding your style. Then you're increasing in knowledge in level 3, building on your skills in level 4. And in level 5, you're demonstrating expertise. Once you have mastered the skills in each of the levels, it's so much easier when you're undertaking your second path to go jumping, because you've mastered through the sequence for your first path. And therefore, it's very possible. You may find that there are those who will attempt to do the same thing, and they've not mastered some of the learning that's supposed to happen. And yes, they will undertake the projects, but they may not be as effective as somebody who's already completed a path. Though you may find others who are already coaching, even in the marketplace, and they already have certain skills that enable them to undertake those tip sessions in advance. So again, will your club allow it? It's a nice thing to do, but again, you can agree as a club that yes, we will allow this to happen, and you move along. So the answer is yes, unless your club states otherwise.
Great. Thank you very much for that. It's very helpful.
You're welcome. And I can see a question from Caroline Wanjiku. Do you want to unmute and voice your question as well?
Hi, DT and Maggie.
Hi.
My question relates to, in case someone has, in the past, I did many roles, DTM, various many evaluator and all that, but maybe took a break. Will those roles be considered now? The ones that had been covered in the past?
Again, another excellent question, and it's asking how far back really should we go back? I mentioned this is my 17th year as a Toastmaster. Can I go back and take the roles that I used 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago? How far back should we go? What do you guys think? Because ordinarily, they were meant to be completed in sequence as you undertake each level. Because we do have people who've been there longer than I've been. Can they go back and pull out the agendas for that time and say, I was timer this time? What are your views on the call? Any takers? Do you have any VPs in the room? Since I'm saying no, so I can't use my 15-year-old roles. Go ahead, our TLI chair, Anne-Maria, DTM.
One of the things that
Kindly repeat that.
now, one of the things I've noticed as I do my third pathway is that it's important to be in the moment. Sometimes we want to, in fact, there are things I've discovered that I need now, and I'm thinking, oh, I just did that. Not even a year ago, but one of the things I'm intentional about right now so that I grow, and I just don't have many certificates from pathways, but I have evidence of growth, is to be in the moment of that pathway. If I'm doing an icebreaker speech, for example, Uganda has had, I was giving a speech at a demo meeting, to be intentional about it, not to do it like someone who has given so many speeches and they're over it. My suggestion would be for each of these enhancements, whether we have done it before, let's do it with intention right now. In fact, we can go as far as asking someone to evaluate you. I have certain people who sit in meetings and they evaluate me, whether I'm giving a table topic, whether I'm just giving a comment, so that our growth is not just as evidenced with certificates and titles, but it's happening as we go on. So my suggestion, if it happened before the enhancements came out, it is not valid. It starts when the enhancements were introduced. And when you're doing it, knowing that it's part of the pathway, not just because you're taking up the role. That is my thought.
Thank you so much, TLI Chair. George Luanya, do you want to unmute and share your thoughts as well? Because we're meant to live in the moment, isn't it?
Thank you very much, DTM Maggie. For me, I think TLI Chair just captured the mood, or what I wanted to say. It's basically, I believe that all our actions should be current. If they're current, they will add value. So I don't need to belabor the point. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you very much. What I'm hearing is I may not go back 15 years and bring my club meeting roles into pathways, isn't it? Conjit, nice to see you. Kindly unmute and speak.
Good afternoon, DTM Maggie. Thank you for the insightful presentation. I found so many answers for my questions. Thank you very much for that. But my understanding is any kind of roles which we have taken before October 1st doesn't count, I think, because the implementation starting from October 1. If I am wrong, you can correct me, but my understanding is we might take so many roles, but this is the time which it's going to be count to our pathway progress. So I think it's starting from 1st October. Back to you.
Excellent. Thank you. Excellent input. And you are confirming what both the TLI chair and also Toastmaster George have said. And also I saw a very loud no from the president of SEMA. And then a suggestion from Jackie Balungi saying that perhaps, Jackie, why don't you read your own comment?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, my proposal relates to the fact that excos change. If you want to go back beyond 6 months, you're looking for past secretaries to present agendas. So it shouldn't go beyond a particular exco.
Interesting. Yes, thank you so much for your input. And I can't agree more with what our TLI chair, Anne-Marie DTM, and actually all of you on the call are saying, that we need to live in the moment. And unleashing roles from 15 years ago will not help our learning. So can we agree that we stay current as much as we can and have that as a standard so that we are able to elevate our meetings today? Because that's the problem we are trying to address. And make the VP's life so much easier and our club meetings much more vibrant. Anybody with a question or a comment? You are welcome to share it. Even as I go to Basecamp to show us where we will be logging our roles under our Basecamp profile. And for those of us who used to log our club meeting roles before they updated, to the one we have before the enhancements, you'll notice that when that update was done, we lost our old meeting roles. And we had to start writing new ones. Does
I have a
somebody want to
question.
say something? Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I
Sorry.
noticed that previously in pathways, for example, if I undertook a club meeting today and I didn't log it on pathways, if I log in pathways tomorrow and I try to log in for the date that maybe when I undertook it the previous date, it used to be the system never used to accept. So I don't know if there's any changes with regards to that, because that was a bit of a challenge, because now, you know, integrity, you're lying. Because clearly you undertook it today and you're logging in tomorrow and you cannot say the correct date. So I used to find that challenging. So I don't know if that has changed. Maybe back to you, DTM Mag.
Thank you so much, George Luanya. I've noted that when they first introduced pathways, you were only allowed to log one meeting role for each category. And again, from the feedback that you and I gave, they were able to work on that a little bit more. Are you able to see my screen? And I hope I'll be able to demonstrate and in the process answer your question as well. Can you see my welcome Basecamp, Margaret?
Yes, you can see it.
Thank you for the confirmation. And this, where your name is, there is a drop down. And this is where you're picking your Basecamp profile. Note I've been welcomed to Basecamp, so I am using my Basecamp profile. And once I click on it, this is what loads. A bit of history, depending on how many stories you've put on your page, you'll be able to get the same. Before, we were only able to log one role date per club meeting role. This time, we are being allowed to log more roles, but I don't know how many we are allowed to log. So far for speech evaluator, I've been able to log 4 of them. This is where you'll be coming to update. And I talked about clicking on the pencil right here, and then you select the role from that drop down. And as I mentioned, we do not have the informal role, that's the mentor, as well as the specialized roles in that drop down, because Toastmasters International doesn't know how many specialized roles each of the clubs have. And therefore we'll need to track that separately. If, for example, I took up an counter role, I'll select that as the role, and then I come here and click on the date. Actually, it would be interesting to see, oh, they're allowing us to go to my 15 years, but please don't go to 15 years ago. And you come and pick the date when you took the meeting and try and remember now to be logging immediately after the meeting, so that you have your profile current at all times. And once you click on the date, today is 17th, then that's what it will hold, and then you will save it. Once you're done, you will just close. And you're able to log as many roles as are available. So this is where you'll be coming to note the roles you have taken. Note you must be in Basecamp in order to click on the right profile for club meeting roles, because there is another profile within your Toastmaster page that allows you to do other things. Does that help? And yes, we'll be sharing the recording. Any other question or comment? Anything you may be wondering about? I can hardly wait for you to experience these wonderful projects that we now have. Go right ahead, Darius.
Thank you, DTM Maggie. That was quite elaborate. I would like to confirm if you're able to show us the side of the Basecamp manager, how I am able to verify. For example, I serve as VPE in my club, Kampala Sunrise. Maybe I was not available for one reason or another and want to confirm that indeed this member delivered this role as they have reported. So where do I find how the members have recorded the roles they have taken on?
Excellent question. Do you have access to your Basecamp right now?
Yes, I do.
I will kindly request our TLI chair to give you some powers in the name of co-host. Could you kindly share your screen? I'm not serving as a VP or a president or a club secretary, and therefore I don't have access to it, but I'll be able to navigate using yours, and you now have co-host. Would you like to share, and then I'll talk you through it?
No
You
worries.
logged into
Right.
Toastmasters. Then when you go to Basecamp, go in as a Basecamp manager, not as a member, so that you're able to see additional screens.
Okay, just a moment.
There you are. So go in as a Basecamp, yeah, go to Basecamp and then you'll go in as a Basecamp manager. Yep. Okay. Can you see where your name is?
Yes.
Drop down. There are my clubs. Can you see my clubs?
Yes, I've seen it.
Can you see the name of your club?
Yes.
And those are your people. Can you see where they are?
Yes,
Then
I can see them.
click on, which one do you want to click on? Agnes or whichever. Try clicking on my friend Agnes.
Okay.
View profile. Scroll down. And she hasn't logged in any for now. Can you see?
Okay.
Counter, general evaluator, grammarian, speech
Just a
evaluator.
moment.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm not sure. Am I able to view myself? I never tried it. I know
Okay,
I've
try
logged
yours.
some of my roles.
Not, you can try my friend Moses as well. I saw him there. Where did he go?
Just a moment.
And it follows in
I think I
alphabetical order.
can't
So look
see
for
myself.
D. Yeah,
Let me try.
you
Let
know
me
why you
try.
can't see yourself?
Yes.
Because you can't approve your own. But your
Yeah.
president or your club secretary will be able to see you.
Okay. Let me try. Let me try Angela.
Okay.
I know she has taken on some
Scroll
recent
down.
roles. Yes.
There. You see she's logged some?
Yep.
That's how you'll be able to see them.
Great.
And the
Thank
date
you
when
very
it was
much.
done.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for taking the VPEs on that one on the live session, because what I've done is to capture screens from a VPE. And I can see Jackie, go right ahead.
Yes, my name is Jackie from SEMA Club.
Yes.
So my question is on the table topics issue, because normally it's random. So I'm wondering, is it going to be something that you talk to the VP that the next meeting I should be picked or something like that?
Excellent. Yes, and I brought that up earlier when I talked about somebody that I approached to take part in a table topic contest. And they confessed that they had been a member for 2 years and nobody had ever asked them a table topic question in the entire 2-year Toastmasters life. And therefore, it will give opportunity for those of us who've never been picked on for table topics to answer a table topic. But more importantly, the VPE will be working with the members as well as the Toastmaster of the day and the topics master. We agree on who gets to be picked for table topics. And that's something that's also made me very pleased, that you need to answer at least 2 table topic questions, one in level 1 and one in level 5, to be able to complete your path. Then I can see Distinguished Toastmaster. Does that help, Jackie?
Yes, it does. Thanks.
Okay. And I can see Derek Mandela, DTM, is on the call. Kindly unmute, voice your question.
Maggie, you took us through my question very well, and I was glad to see Darius from Kampala Sunrise undertake that verification exercise. So thank you, Darius and DT and Maggie.
Welcome. Again, integrity needs to be upheld. They should not just be words on the Toastmasters website and the dictionary. Can we practice and uphold the Toastmaster values? We are here to learn. Most of us are paying for ourselves, and we are also sacrificing the time if we are being paid for by the organization. Let's uphold the highest levels of integrity. And each time you're performing a role, make sure you perform it to the best of your ability. And I mentioned earlier that I'm now living for the moment where Toastmasters will tell us we need to be evaluated for the role, and by the way, it's being tracked here. That is what we had before in the legacy program when we had the competent communicator and the competent leader track. We had manuals. And each time you took up a role, you had to get an evaluator to evaluate you on how well you are a counter, grammarian, Toastmaster of the day, whichever role you took. And that, again, enhanced our learning experiences and fostered the good collaboration that I talked about earlier. And I can see a comment from Kunjit. You may unmute and voice your comment for us, Kunjit. Kunjit,
I think it would be much easier for the VP, the life of VP, no more begging for taking assignment roles and following, I think. I like this enhancement.
I do too. I can see I have very many supporters as well. I mean, Toastmasters has many supporters for the enhancements. But think about how we are going to grow as individuals and even as a club. Isn't it? And now we'll be requiring our VP to have those agendas out, our club secretaries to have those minutes out, and we members to read the minutes and ensure that they're captured correctly. Isn't it? Go ahead, Dan, and how are you doing? Dan, go right ahead. I saw your hand up. If you're not able to speak, you can type on the chat. And I can see George saying the role taker's nightmare is over. I can't agree more. And yes, we are confirming that the recording will be available. And you've seen that the projects that haven't been added are real life skills, things we're encountering every day in the marketplace. Do not deny yourself a growth opportunity. And personally, I'm looking forward to hearing the different tip sessions on the education series that have been unveiled. Anybody else with a question or a comment before I hand it over to our TLI chair? You think there are fun days ahead for us? Like I said, I am so excited. And I can see one of my presidents is on the call. President Christine, do you want to comment? I'll now hand control of the meeting to our TLI chair to make any closing remarks. And then we can adjourn the session. Over to you, TLI chair, distinguished Toastmaster Anne-Marie.
Thank you very much, DTM Maggie. Let me see some love, some emojis, some clapping, some appreciation for DTM Maggie for this amazing, amazing session. Thank you. I have learned a lot. I have the pathway I'm doing presently is under legacy. As I listened to you, I was thinking, no, let me buy let me buy a new pathway. I also want to tick things. I like ticking things. So I want to tick off. I want to do things according to the level I am at. I look forward to just being able to see us grow. I know one of the things that came up as we talked with certain people about the enhancements is what that does for TLI certification, because the tip sessions are the same as what we're doing. So let's see how this works. I look forward to what the future looks like. And I'm excited for every VPE. In fact, now I want to take the role again because this is going to be fun. And I'm also excited for the growth we will see in every single club. Thank you for showing up today. We will share the recording of this session. Have a great night and do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, any thoughts, any suggestions, any ideas. We are open to all that. Have a great evening and bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night,
DTM Maggie,
everyone.
can I?
Bye.
Good night. Bye. DTM Maggie, can I send us home? Oh.
Yes, you're our host. You can send us home.
Okay. Good night, everyone. I am closing the meeting for all of us.